All right, there it was. So tonight we will be participating a couple of different ways. So one is let's try one of those ways first, which will be with the reactions. We used that last time on the first Friday Night Live. So find your reactions and go ahead and apply one now, whether it's a hand clap, a heart. You can raise your hand. There we go. I see them. I see thumbs up. I see hearts. Great. Okay. So anytime during the program, if if you agree with something, you love something, you can use your reactions. Feel free to do that as long as they're appropriate to whatever the discussion is. Feel free to use your reactions. So another way that you'll be able to participate tonight is we'll be actually giving you the mic. So giving you a chance to unmute and we'll get to chat. We'll get to talk more definitely for this Friday Night Live session. So if you want to speak when we're all together, because we'll have in a moment, I'll tell you we'll be in breakout rooms for a second too. But if we're all together in the group chat and you would like to answer a question, go ahead and raise your hand. We will unmute you, and then you'll have the opportunity to express yourself or your opportunity to get the mic. Now, the final way that you'll be able to participate tonight is through the chat feature. So I want everyone, we're going to test it out now to make sure you know where your chat is located and know how to use it. I want you to answer the following question for me. What are you hoping to learn about most tonight? All right, so you guys can go ahead and put it in the chat. Ah, here we see. I see Rain, city government. Athena, girls in government. So I see you all are locating your chat. Good. We could change the world. I know that's right. About government of Michigan and girls in government. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. All right, so we are going ahead, we're going to get started, and we're going to start off with a leadership scavenger hunt. So before we get into learning more about local government, we're going to have a scavenger hunt. So it is game time. So let's get started. So for this game, I have 5 mystery objects. I know that's a lot written down there, so I'm going to explain it to you. I have 5 mystery objects that I'm going to give you clues about. These objects are typical household items. And as I'm giving you the clues, if you think you know what it is, you can go get it. If you wait until I give all the clues, then you will have 15 seconds to get the mystery object. Once you have it in your hand, hold it up for the camera so we can know that you got it. And then and then I'll tell you what that mystery object has to do with leadership or how we connect it to leadership. So let's go ahead and get started. Did anybody have any questions about that before we get started? Yes, I see a hand raised. There we go. And if you could tell me your name, say your name so I make sure that I pronounce everyone's name correctly before you go ahead and say.
My name is Kara, and so I'm in my room right now. What if I need to run downstairs into the kitchen or the the living room? Can I just do that?
You can.
Okay.
If you wait till all the clues are done, then you only have 15 seconds to do that. But if you think you know what it is on the first or second clue, then you can go ahead and get it and come back.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, let's go ahead and get started with mystery object number 1. Okay, so here are your clues. This object is typically silver. This object helps hold documents together, and this object can be big or small. Anyone know? So I'm going to give this it's 15 seconds on the clock. If anyone can give your best guess. Ah, I see someone in the chat. Ah, there we go. I see it. Okay, the mystery object is a paper clip. So hand claps, good job to those who picked what it was. So a paper clip, that represents a leader that has to hold everything together. Well, not everything, but they got to hold a lot of things together by creating shared goals with their team. So nice job. Mystery object number 2. So here are the clues for this one. This object typically comes in black or blue. This object is a writing utensil. And this object is probably a school supply you use every day. 15 seconds on the clock. I see a Sharpie close enough. I see pens. I see lots of pens in the chat. All right, that mystery object is a pen. A leader always has a pen to write down their ideas or information quickly because you never know when you might need them. And now I know most of you, another way, since we are in 2024, a lot of people use their phones to snap pictures to catch great ideas, or they use the memo on your phone if you have one, or voice memos or notes. But a pen is always handy. And it might seem old school, but a pen is still good for a leader to always have. All right, so we are going on to mystery object number 3. This object can be plain, a fun pattern, or even various skin colors. This object is used to cover a scrape when you fall, and this item can be seen at a doctor's office or first aid kit. And you have it, you can show it in the screen or put it in the chat. You've got 15 seconds. Ah, I see a fun pattern. Evelyn and Stephanie. Peeps. Oh, that's interesting. I've never seen that variety of band-aids before. Band-aids. Ah, I see. So I see some band-aids in the camera, band-aids in the chat. It is a band-aid. So the band-aid represents self-care. Every leader must find time for self-care and take the time to do the things that they enjoy, because they spend a lot of time helping others. So you definitely have to make sure that a leader has to make sure that they take time for themselves. Nice work. So we only got 2 more. Mystery object number 4. The clues for that is the object can be found at the end of a writing utensil. The object is usually pink. The object is a school supply, a common school supply. 15 seconds. Ah, I see. Kara. I see erasers, a lot of erasers in the pictures and in the chat. All right, eraser is correct. It is okay for leaders to make mistakes. And the most important thing is to reflect on what you learned from your mistakes. So that's what the eraser represents. So we have our last mystery object coming up. I can't stump you guys. So here are the clues for mystery object number 5, the last one. This object is stretchy, it's round, and this object can be worn around your wrist or used to bind different things together. I see hair bands. Sophie has a hair band up. Rubber bands in the chat. 15 seconds is winding. Oh, I see hair bands, rubber bands. Awesome. So the mystery object is the last one, is a rubber band. Nice work. So this represents leaders have to be flexible with many changes that go on around them, and they have to be able to bounce back when they fall down. Great job, guys. So next, let's learn about local government. So there are 3 branches of local government. Tell me what you think the 3 branches are in the chat. Anybody can. What do you think the three branches of local government are? Answers going up in the chat. That's good to be honest. I don't know. We're gonna learn tonight. Okay. Well, let's see what the first one is, or one of them is. Legislative. I saw some people did put that in the chat. So one is the legislative branch. Now, what do they do? The legislative branch creates laws. Who is a part of the local legislative branch? It's a good question. So for the city of Detroit, it's the Detroit City Council. And the president, council president Mary Sheffield, is who we're going to talk to tonight. So now you guys know what branch of local government she represents as being a part of the city council. Second branch of local government is the executive. And I saw some people did put that in the chat. So put in the chat for me what you think the executive branch does. We just went over what the legislative branch does. What do you think the executive branch does? And this is, if you feel like you're wrong, you're right. This is where we get it out. There is passes laws, enforces laws. And we got some answers going up. So the executive branch implements laws. So who is a part of the local executive branch? Mayors. So mayors do represent a part of the local executive branch. And the city of Warren has its first woman mayor, Lori Stone. So another woman that's in leadership. The third branch of local government is the judicial branch. And I saw some of you did put that in the chat. And the judicial branch checks over laws. And who is a part of the local judicial branch? Does anyone have any idea? Answers in the chat, who's a part of the local judicial branch? You can go, guys, go ahead and put it in the chat. Courts, judges, nice. Okay, let's see. Municipal courts, so correct, are a part of the judicial branch of local government. And this is an example, Honorable Leslie Kim Smith. She's a judge for the Michigan Third Circuit Court. So our guest speaker, Mary Sheffield, she's a part of the Detroit City Council that represents the local legislative branch. So we're going to learn a little bit more about the Detroit City Council and Mary Sheffield before she comes on tonight. And again, the Detroit City Council is the legislative body of Detroit. It was first constituted as the legislative body in 1824. Kara, you have a question?
What time is she going to be on tonight?
She's going to come on about 6:20, 6:30.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So we're going to learn a little bit about the city council and her before she comes on. So you guys have some good questions. So it was first constituted as a legislative body in 1824, and it was called, the Common Council all the way up until July 1st, 1974, which I know seems like a long time ago, but it actually was not that long ago. What about 50 years ago? The council has a motto: we hope for better things, it will rise from the ashes. What is your interpretation of their motto? So raise your hand and I'll give you the mic. We hope for better things. It will rise from the ashes. And this is just what you think your interpretation. What do you think that means? Mhm. Kara, go
Like
ahead.
maybe like undo what's been done and like maybe like do better things in life and like get better at stuff.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's definitely a good interpretation because they're hoping for better things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I think that's a good interpretation.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
We do have
Did
some
you?
comments in the chat.
Okay. Let me take a look at some of the comments in the chat. Better things will come eventually. Yes. It can only get better. I like it. I like it too. Detroit has experienced turmoil and economic struggles. Ashes are representative of the past harm Detroit has faced. Better things is what is being made and now done by legislation. I love it. Those are some really good interpretations of what this motto means, and I think none of them are incorrect. I'm sure that I get that from when I read it as well. All the things that you guys named. Now, the city of Detroit is divided into 7 districts. There's 7 district members and 2 members at large, making a total of 9 members. And each member serves a term of 4 years at a time. Now, here's a map of the city of Detroit and how the 7 districts are divided. And each member, like I said, each of the 7 members represents a district. So Council President Mary Sheffield represents District 5. And the 2 at large kind of represent the whole city of Detroit. The council meets on the 13th floor of the Coleman A. Young building, and they have various committees that they work on. And you can see from the list, these are all the different committees that they work on. Now, Coleman A. Young was a mayor of Detroit. The building is named after him, and he was a mayor of Detroit from 1974 to 1994. So, yes, he had 5 terms as mayor. So, it's about 20 years as mayor of Detroit. It's a long time. Now, the Detroit City Council, this represents their responsibilities. They do a lot of things like we already discussed. They're the legislative body, so they create local laws, and those are referred to as ordinances. They look at city goals, major projects, and they meet every business day over the course of at least 10 months. And when the mayor needs them, they meet on special occasions or they have special meetings that they have. And here's just some examples of some of the major city projects that they will work on, like affordable housing for Detroit residents, improving parks and recreation across the city. And here you see, these are the current 9 members of the Detroit City Council. In the middle is Council President Mary Sheffield. And there are 4 additional women who serve on the council as well. Angela Whitfield Calloway, Letitia Johnson, Gabriela Santiago Romero, and Mary Waters. Okay, now it's game time. So we are going to problem solve like the city council, okay? So it's one of the things to get you prepared to be leaders and continue to lead in the way that you probably already do today, but to get better at it is to have you go through some critical thinking skills, be able to problem solve, because that's what they do. They get together, the city council, they're presented with problems that the city may have, or just have to come up with ideas to make improvements. So in that, they have to do a lot of critical thinking. So for this next game, you guys are going to be broken into 3 breakout rooms. So I'm going to pose a problem. It's going to be 3 different problems, and each problem represents an issue the city council had to address at one point in time. So in these breakout rooms, we're going to give you guys about 5 minutes to discuss the issue that you're given. And then I want you guys to pick a spokesperson. And when we come back as a group, the people are going to say what the answer is or what the solution is, what was discussed as a group in their breakout room. Okay. Does anyone have any questions before you are separated out into your breakout rooms? Okay. And I'll just say that, when you go out your breakout rooms, I know that you all will be respectful of different opinions and that will give everyone opportunities to talk. So unmute yourselves when you are put into the group. So here's your first problem. Problem number 1. Your troop raised $1,000 to address homelessness in your county. Develop a plan to utilize the funds. And so now Anterica is going to separate you out into breakout rooms. We are going to put, oh, she already did. She put the problem in the chat so that you'll be able to reference it still while you're in your breakout room. And so once you're in those rooms, we're going to give you 5 minutes, about 5 minutes to talk about it and choose a spokesperson to speak to what you guys talked about in the room. Any questions? Is everybody ready to go in the breakout room and do some problem solving? All right. Hi, Coco. See, Rain, were you? Yeah.
Hey, Dana, it's Candace. I'm going from my phone into we at home now and
Okay.
realized I was under the troops account. So that's why I logged back out.
Okay. So you weren't, because I'm like, you weren't able to go in the breakout room, so I didn't know what happened.
Yeah, because I was switching over and then I noticed because we had a troop meeting this week and I was still in the troop Zoom. So I'm about to log out of that account and go into my own.
Okay, got it.
So give us a second.
No problem. Hi, Lila. Lila. Oh, I just signed her room too. Oh, did you? Okay. Okay, we're just waiting for everyone to pop back in. And if you were a spokesperson, just go ahead and raise your hand. Okay, I think we have everyone back in the group. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and when I unmute you, say your first name and then go ahead and talk about what your group discussed.
My name is Sonia, and in my group, we talked about like mainly using most of it for like humanitarian aid, like shelter and clothing and like food and stuff like that. But then we also mentioned like using the other portion of it and reinvesting it back into the cause in terms of like lobbying and also like you can get businesses to match your donations and stuff like that. So there's a way for you to get your $1,000 to be way past $1,000 without just giving up at 1,000. So you could still invest part of that into like aid, and then the other portion could go back into raising more.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. You guys came up with that quick in the room. Nice. And if you have any comments about what you heard from someone's group, feel free to react or put it in the chat. So her group is going to make the $1,000 stretch a little further by getting other people involved. I love it. All right. Next up.
Hi, my name is Sophie, and my group came up with making lunches, like packed lunches with sandwiches and fruit, chips, juice boxes, and like little sweets to give to them and like the homeless. And if we had extra money, we were gonna buy thermal blankets to give the sandwiches with, like the lunches.
Yes, I love it. So addressing basic needs, making sure that those basic needs are addressed, and those basic needs are warm food. Nice job.
Mhm.
All right, next up.
I'm Kara, and what we will do with my group came up with this. What we will do with the funds is use it to buy food worth of $200, clothing worth of $100, give $50 to each troop member because we helped raise the money, so it's best to get like a little bit of profit, or like I'll put $20. Yeah, $20 to give to each troop member for helping them raise $1,000.
Okay. All right. So thank you all. We have one more group. Okay. One more group. We had four. Oh, we did have four groups. Okay. Who was the spokesperson for the fourth group? Raise your hand. Did we have a spokesperson for the first? Okay. Kate and Jess. Did I
Yeah,
unmute?
she's
Okay,
being a
there we
little
go.
shy right now.
Oh no, that's okay.
So what they came up with is to divide the money evenly and buy some clothes in different sizes, and then get some food and a toy or two for the kids so that they can open something and feel special, especially if it's around the holidays, that they can open something, because a lot of them don't have the things that we have.
Nice. So being mindful that it's not just sometimes adults that are out there, but whole families that
Yes.
experience homelessness. So
Yeah.
a wonderful job as a whole, you guys. So we're going to go on to the next problem. I think we're going to the next problem. I don't know what happened here. Okay, here we go. Problem number 2. So your troop raised $5,000 this time to help the community and decided to use it to help local seniors do repairs on their homes. Some parents disagree with your troop decision. How would you advocate for the choice you made to support the seniors? And does anyone kind of need more clarity on what advocate means? Because I'm going to put you all in breakout rooms to discuss. Everyone's clear on what advocate means?
I do see that Kara is asking if we can have a little clarification.
Okay. Oh, but thumbs up. You got it now. Oh, clarification is how you would basically convince or voice, or not necessarily convince, but voice or fight for the choice that you made. Okay, so we are going to separate you into breakout rooms again. I think you'll go to the same ones. All right, everybody's coming back in the room. Raise your hand if you are the spokesperson. We have everyone back? Okay, I think we do. All right, this time we are going to start with Rain.
So what my group talked about was that 1,000 out of the 5,000 we will use to prepare the doors and the windows. So the citizens, people, they could be safe inside where they're at and no robberies happened and probably no cold air comes in from the outside. And then another 1,000 of the 5,000, we said we'll use it for food. We'll use it for food. So then food, drinks, air mattresses and blankets and pillows so they could be able to sleep somewhere and be warm. And then the other 3,000, we said we're going to use on to repair houses. And so at least 4 or 5 people could be in one house and not just 1 or 2.
Okay, thank you, Rain. So your group advocated in a way by explaining how you were going to use the funds for the seniors. And so that you feel like that was the way that you would convince your parents that this was a good decision by, it sounds like you were describing the needs of the seniors and why it was important that they had those things that you all were purchasing for them. So that's called, that's another way, we call that transparency. So that's clearly letting someone see your plan of action. So that's a good way to, when you are trying to advocate for something, for explaining the need and explaining why you have picked that need to address. So I think that was good. All right, let's go with Sonia.
My group kind of said a similar thing. So we basically said that we were going to work on like showing versus telling because it's a lot easier to like why would you spend like 30 hours explaining why your project is good versus just doing a phenomenal project and then showing everybody that your work was good. And so I think that we also suggested things like before and after pictures, like firsthand testimonies from like seniors and stuff, like from before and after, or like during the project, or like local community members talking about like how much it means to them and like stuff like that, because that could help show like different importance, but like above all, just doing the work versus.
Yeah, no, I love it. So in your plan, it was very similar, but it sounds like you guys were utilizing marketing and telling a
Right.
story and how powerful telling
Right.
someone's story is and showing it. And I know that social media has been a big tool that is used now in advocacy as a way of getting the word out and using visual images to tell a story and tell a need and how you met that need and why it's important. So no, I think that's great. That's another part of and another tool in being an advocate for a group. Athena.
In our breaker room, we talked about how we were going to give them a letter stating our decision and why. And we were also going to make a Google slideshow to show them why. We'd also give them the reason that they don't really have the same resources and accessibilities as we do.
Awesome. So again, this is showing them the need so that they can understand why it's being addressed. Because sometimes people just don't know, right? They don't know that the issue, they're not as aware of the issue as you might be. Because if it's an issue going on and maybe it has never affected your family or it's not necessarily directly in your community, you might not even know that the problem exists. So a part of advocacy is getting the word out and letting people know that this is an issue and this is why we have chosen to address it. Sometimes there's a lot of problems in any city. There's a lot of problems in the world. So, to choose what you want to address depends on what you're burdened by and what you kind of have a passion, who you have a passion to help. So I think that's a great job. Fourth group. We had a fourth group. And you want to represent? Oh, okay. There we go. Kate and Jess for the fourth group.
Okay, so our group, we actually came up with a list of things that like we would buy and kind of prioritize them and made a list of like wood and paint, bricks, gardening tools, and ladders, things that we needed. And then we would discuss why we needed them and then let them know that like seniors have a harder time to do these things and these repairs that are necessary, even like pipes, if they have something wrong in their house, that they can't just fix them, that they need some help. So raising that money to help towards fixing those problems that they can't do themselves is a good thing.
Yes, yes, I agree. Just talking about the population itself and the needs that happen kind of biologically. You can't argue with sometimes seniors. They can't lift what they used to lift sometimes. They can't climb on ladders. They can't do those things. So this is an area where they could really use some assistance, not even in just purchasing the things, but someone to help get it done as well. Yeah, no, great job, group number 4. All right, we have one last problem, and that is problem number 3. This is the final one. You are a Girl Scout troop at your school. Because of your exemplary behavior at school, the principal asks you to help her solve a problem. Disagreements and fights have increased in your school. How can the principal decrease the amount of hostility and violence among the student body? Okay. Any questions on the problem? Okay, we're gonna go out in our breakout rooms. I look forward to your answers. You guys are good. Okay, everyone is almost back. We have a couple of others, and then we'll get started. Okay, I think everyone is back. Okay, let's get started with Zoe. Oops, sorry.
We,
Mhm.
yeah, it's okay. We discussed that we could promote like bullying assemblies, anti-bullying assemblies, where we just like went over typical things, and then also like in the classroom we could have like brain breaks every hour so that you're not constantly tense, because that could cause a lot of anger and outbreaks. And then also just like creating a positive classroom and environment around, and having like phrases like on the walls and stuff maybe.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I like how your group's problem was um, handling the issue, because the issue was already here by having the bullying assemblies, but also being proactive by creating a more positive environment, and um, kind of addressing that there needs to be breaks in the classroom, brain breaks, or chances for people to, it's kind of like self-care, because if you're taking care of self, then that probably does relieve a lot of tension, a lot of issues or anything that you might be having. So I do like that you addressed the problem as it was, and you also had some proactive things to just better the environment. All right, let's go with Anna. There we go.
So what my group said was we would involve the parents a lot and have a system of the first time you get in trouble, it's one level, then the next time it's another level, and so on. But we would also want to reinforce good behavior and recognition for catching people doing good things, like opening the door for someone, being kind, and use empathy to talk things out when they do get in trouble.
I love the use of the word empathy, and and again, yours was two-pronged. It was addressing the issue as it is, because there have to be consequences to behavior, and then but also creating a more positive environment. So handling it from both ends, addressing it from both sides. I love that. Nice word.
Thank you.
Sonia, you're welcome. Sonia.
So basically what my group said is we were more focused on addressing the social issues surrounding the violence, because oftentimes kids who are exacerbating violence in schools are victims of violence at home, or they have repeated exposure, they live in violent areas, they live in high crime rates, they're committing crimes to help their families and stuff like that. So we would up the amount of resources that we have available for students. So we would increase like paralegals, maybe get like a school like cop in to help like with students and stuff like that. More school counselors to help address that need. Um, More frequent check-ins with more violent students, and then maybe looking at possible like separation and stuff if there seems to be too big of like a violence problem, because if the entire school is violent, that seems to be a systemic issue. If only a certain portion of the school is violent, then that seems to be a need-based issue.
Mhm.
And so that need-based issue would have to be more like individually like tailored versus just a broad blanket. Like you can't send everybody away. But if there's like, so that's kind of what my group thought.
Okay, yeah, I love that for a variety of reasons. Empathy was mentioned earlier, but this is the way you see empathy kind of walked out. And that understanding that when individuals are acting out, oh, you can go ahead. And when individuals are acting out in certain ways and you see that behavior, it's just not coming out of nowhere. So I like how you discussed addressing so many needs that the student may have or what's going on with their home life, and not just saying, okay, we're going to punish. Let's try to get more to the root of what may be the issue. And also, I like how your group noted that something may be a systemic issue. So is this with a few, or is this the entire school? Because then we know that those are two different problems, right? If we see that going on. So I love it. It's a lot of critical thinking going on. We have the last group. That Kate and Jess? Speaking for the last group? Okay. I think, did I unmute you all? Okay, there we go. Oh, did it happen?
There we go.
Okay. They were like muting, unmuting at the same time.
Yes. So we have 3 little options that we decided that would be probably the best to use. And one of them was that to have every classroom, the teachers have the children say something positive about each other every day. So like you would pick a partner and you would say something positive about them, changing their mindset to something positive versus something negative, and just commenting on like their shirt or their hair or their personality may change how they think about themselves, which may also change the way that they react to things. We have an adult in the hallways to de-escalate problems before they get worse and try to help them problem solve. And then have the teachers read books about how to care and treat others.
Yes. So very good. Again, the power of positivity, right? Because we know that positivity, actually, people being positively motivated, research has shown that improves behavior or improves an environment a lot more than negative motivation or pointing out and focusing on the negative. And I also like the fact of bringing in, it sounds like, the community, if you're having more adults there. So showing that the community does care, whether it's parents or volunteers, having more of that presence to let the students know that other people care. And that's when you catch some of the things that issues or something kids may be having. So I do love that idea. Awesome. All right, you guys did an excellent job. And these problems represent things that the city council issues that they actually were dealing with and had to handle, but it was on a city level rather than just a small level. So when you're thinking about leadership, understand that you can lead now, and you lead now in a multitude of different ways. And these are the different ways. So the problems were worded at your troop level, but understand that these are issues that you could continue to have to address as you get older and if you continue to lead in that way. So let's learn a little bit about Mary Sheffield. So she should be on in any moment now. So Council President Mary Sheffield, she was the youngest person voted to the council in 2013. So if you do the math, it's going on a little over 10 years on the city council. She was born in Detroit, Michigan, and she was appointed the president in January 2022. She created the homelessness task force. We did a problem on that. And she also launched the Occupy the Corner Detroit initiative and the Save the Senior Home Repair Grant Program. So like we talked about before, the problems that were represented earlier today are some of the problems that the city of Detroit have had to address, the Detroit City Council. So she will be on shortly. Give me one moment, and I will make sure we bring our guest on. Hello, girls. Unfortunately, I am unable to get council president logged on at this time. As and I know this is disappointing because you all were waiting to speak with her. But as you know, sometimes women in government leadership, it could have been an emergency that came up or something that she had to tend to right at this moment. So I do apologize, but I don't want to take up your whole time and have you waiting, and she's not logged on yet. So what we'll do, I promise you that I will get back to you all, and I'm going to make it up to you with something that we're going to do. So this is for Anna. Yes.
I just think that this was very cool, and this is like a very, very cool thing, and I'm very lucky to be here.
Well, thank you. I'm very appreciative of that. I'm happy to be here too. I'm happy to be here with you all. Thank you. Thank you. So what we'll do is I will definitely follow up with each and every person that is on tonight, and we'll make sure that we get this right. Okay. But again, I'm sure she did not mean something probably came up that was an emergency that she had to handle right in this moment. So here I'm going to go ahead and forward you to the Girl Scout surveys. So I'm also going to email you the link so that you have it. So I'm going to email your parents the link so you have the surveys and the link as well. And that way you can get your credit for attending today's session. Because remember, this goes towards you earning your custom Michigan Women's Commission patch. So we're also going to put the survey links in the chat so that you can have them that way, and they'll be emailed to your parents as well. So I know many of you I will see tomorrow. I look forward to that. That is going to be a grand time. And everyone that participated tonight will have a special gift sent to them. So in the email that I send to you, it does ask that you that your parents send me the mailing address where you would like your gift to go. So make sure you do that. Something special is going to be coming in the mail. And I really appreciate you all participating tonight. You had very thoughtful answers, and you guys are some really good critical thinkers. So I thank you for joining us this evening. The next virtual speaker session will be February 23rd, the same time. There will be a guest for that one, but I will let you know at that time. And there's the link if you want to register for that one, because again, it is free. And that's one additional step to earning that custom Michigan Women's Commission patch. Did anyone have any questions before I closed out? Yes, Karen.
Maybe like we can meet 2 speakers in our next one, because like we didn't get to meet our today. So I know next time we're probably gonna have like another speaker. But can you ask Mary if she's available the 20 third? And also I'm getting like a teeth extraction February 19th, so I may not be in a good shape.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. And I think that's a very good idea. I know she's definitely going to want to make up the date with you all for sure. So I will have that. That's definitely going to happen. And so I like the 2 guest idea as well. So thank you. And if you can't talk on the 23rd, you can always answer in the chat, and we'll know what's going on. At least all of us that are here tonight will know what's going on. Anyone else have anything? If not, you can log on. Have a great night. And I really do thank you all for coming tonight. Lila?
Will there be another guest speaker to next
Yes,
meeting? There will be.
yes, February 23rd, there will be.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.